Hey everyone. Today I want to ask you and talk to you about the difference between a high performing team, a high functioning team, and which of the two you prefer. So, a month ago, I ran this poll on LinkedIn to see if anybody thought there was a difference or if they thought there was more value in terms of a high performance team versus a high functioning team. And you could tell the results are, well, a high functioning team was preferred by CEOs and folks that voted on it. And so, why is that? Is there even a difference between a high functioning team and a high performance team? And why is that important? I think you have to prescribe to the theory that um, a group can do more than an individual. So, if we look at a high performance team, the high performance team to me says that there are individuals within that team that are performing highly. They are doing a lot of good things and they are driving the results. A high functioning team is a team that works well together. As I went through this poll and talked to some people, asked what they thought about it, many said that a high performance team, the only way you can get to a high performance team is by having high function first, by being collaborative, by being communicative, by having high trust, which people talk about all the time. Whereas you can have a high performance team, a bunch of individuals performing, but you have a team of assholes, for lack of a better term. When I work with leadership teams in their strategic planning, and typically, if they have a high performer in the organization that also has challenges with the culture that is kind of negatively impacting the culture, and I think like 9.9 times out of 10, when they let that person go, the performance easily bounces back, and the culture does as well. So the net don't lose the performance, but if they keep them, then that individual's impact on the whole causes a greater detriment than their original, presumed performance. So if you have somebody who sells really well, but who's a dick to everybody, you're worried about losing that million, 2 million, $5 million in revenue. Ultimately, what is going to happen is that one person is going to have such negative effects to the rest of the group that you're going to lose that net benefit. By releasing that person from the organization, the benefit still comes in different ways. Obviously, nothing substitutes that's 5 million, but there are cumulative effects on an organization, because if one person can drive $5 million in revenue, the collective group, when performing at a high level, can also drive great performance. So it's important to realize, especially even at an organization of any significance, that you can't trade off, or you can, I just don't think you should trade off one person's performance for the health of a team. You're going to have high turnover. You're going to have people resigned. You're going to ultimately impact the collaboration and chemistry with other team members, even not relating to that one person. And it's going to ultimately hurt not only your top line, but your bottom line as well. I play a lot of FIFA, and in FIFA, when you build your team of 11, one of the things that they consider is chemistry. The chemistry you have between people on your, forward, midfield, defense, etc. And that's no different in your organization, in your leadership team, in any place. Is that you need to be able to have that high function with your people, which means having that communication, having that trust, having that structure, having that understanding. And when you have a high collaboration team, a high trust team, that's when you can have greater innovation. That's where you can, challenge things. If you have a high performer that is a negative to the culture, then people don't want to challenge. It's easier to work around that person or avoid that person than collaborate with them. And as a group, you're losing the upside of your entire organization. You're creating like a black hole of communication, and so people will avoid talking to that person. So in terms of the difference between a high performance and a high functioning team, I encourage you to focus on delivering and creating, fostering a high functioning team first. The high function will drive high performance, and if you trade off high performance for as an individual versus high performance or high function at a team, that you're ultimately going to pay the price. It's just a matter of when you pay. So things you can do to drive that collaboration is make sure everybody has clear ground rules in terms of how they can work together. Make sure that there's clear roles and responsibilities, so there's not missed expectations or gaps in terms of who's doing what. And make sure that there's sufficient structure for communication, both formalized meetings and informal, Slack or Teams or whatever, so people can work together. Make sure that you don't have communication gaps of understanding, gaps of expectation. And the faster you can do that and build an understanding between individuals, the faster you'll get to high function as a leadership team, and the faster you'll get to high performance. The other thing to consider, if you're a new CEO or you've grown quickly and you've added new team members, or if you've grown through acquisition and integration, anytime you add a new team member, it is a new team. It adds a different dynamic to the organization. So building up that trust, building up that function as quickly as possible is going to get you the fastest returns towards team development and impact. And then, if you're looking for somebody to support you with that, well, a firm like SME Strategy can help you structure those conversations, structure the learning, structure the time to work on the business and on the team instead of just in the business in terms of your organization. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Are performance and function the same? Is one more or less valuable than the other? Are they exactly the same and people should just be focusing on their work? What are your thoughts on that? Are they important? Are they valuable? Drop it in the comments below. I'm curious to see, as a community, what do you think? And what have you learned in having those conversations with your team? Have you had to make trade-offs around, losing a high performer so that you could add more value to the team? So I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Curious as to your thoughts, so drop them below, and then be sure to follow if you like this subject. All right, take care.